Yo, Wagwan. Hope you're doing well today. I'm Jay Carteret from growonyoutube.com, teaching you how to be better at YouTube marketing, online business, and music production. Now, I just got a comment on my YouTube channel. Let me read it out. It was from a gentleman called Intensity, YouTuber, and he's basically asking about Article 13, so I thought I'd quickly make this video and share my thoughts on it. So I'm going to read out the comment, then I'm going to hopefully give you some information that will help you stop worrying about Article 13 and these sorts of things. So let's get into it. So Intensity says, you're a good motivator. When I read your emails, I get inspired to create more content to achieve what you've achieved. That is great. I'm glad to hear it. And to hit the end goal of finally doing YouTube as my main career. In order to do that, you need to build a business or think about the business that you want to create. However, I'm a bit concerned about Article 13. Do you mind doing a video covering it, as it's a concern for small YouTubers such as myself? I don't know why. I don't think it's like just only small YouTubers that would be concerned about Article 13. I think anyone in the EU is probably concerned about Article 13. And I guess even outside of the EU, you might be concerned about Article 13 because the way Article 13 is set up, your videos may not be served in the EU, but like the majority of the viewing world is in the US anyway, so I don't think that will make that much of a difference. Now, first of all, I need to be very real with you. I am not an expert on Article 13, yeah? I remember seeing a notification come up on my phone, you know, from YouTube being like, yo, do you want to read about Article 13? And I said no, yeah? And I'll tell you why, but I just wanted to give you that information so you know that I'm not coming from a place saying, oh yeah, I know exactly what Article 13 is and what it's doing and all this sort of stuff. Now, there are many different things that come into this conversation. I'm unsure if Article 13 is 100% passed and it's 100% going to go into effect. As far as I know, it's kind of passed, but it's not really in effect yet. So you'd have to see what happens with that. Now, basically what Article 13 is, as far as I know, is there's a provision in this article. I'm unsure if it's like just Article 13 is the provision or if the whole thing has a provision in there. But let me just go on with it. There's a provision in this law, basically, that's going to be signed into EU law or whatever, that basically requires online places such as YouTube and social media sites and all that sort of stuff to take on the responsibility of copyright infringement and stuff like that. And what I mean by that is if someone uploads copyrighted content to the site, then YouTube would be what's the word? Not reliable. Liable. It would be liable to pay for the damages, and they would basically get the consequences of having the copyright stuff on their site. So what Article 13, what some people are assuming Article 13 will do is force sites like YouTube and Facebook and all the sites, every site basically, to verify that whatever you're uploading isn't copyrighted material before you upload it. And I'm unsure how strict YouTube would get in this sort of scenario. So that's all speculation right about now. Like some people are thinking, this means, if you're in the EU, then you can't even upload to YouTube, like your YouTube career is going to be done. Which could be a possibility, to be honest. All these things can be possible. But I want to just basically talk about how I think about things like this. Something like Article 13, which is something that I can't personally change or affect in any way, except for, by voting. And I don't know if we're even going to be in the EU when that is passed into law because, Brexit and stuff. And this is the same reason why I'm not really focused on Brexit, because a lot of these things, like a lot of these big things that you'll see people make a big deal about online and whatnot, yeah, a lot of these things just blow over. Like, it's kind of like, I don't want to spoil all Game of Thrones, but these things like just blow over generally, yeah. Sometimes they turn into something else, but at that point, that's when you should be worried about it, really, because there's nothing you can do to prepare for, you know, this to go into motion except for not using copyrighted content, which I tell you to use, which I tell you to do all the time in my videos. I made a video on copyright strikes versus copyright claims, and I tell you, don't use copyrighted content if you want to monetize your videos. But now it's like, just don't use copyrighted content unless you want things to be tricky down the road. Like, don't use copyrighted content. It's so simple. Don't use it. The only time you should use it is if you've got permission. If you sign up to a site to use background music or whatever, then yeah, you can use copyrighted content. Otherwise, don't do it. If you're making content using copyrighted content, then you're putting yourself in a terrible position. Even me, yeah, my old Batman videos have now started getting claimed. Like Batman I don't think I played Arkham Knight. I think it was Arkham City. Batman Arkham City. My Arkham City videos are now being claimed by the producer that made the background music in Batman Arkham City. And this generally, no, it wasn't Arkham City. I think it was Arkham Knight, actually. Yeah, I think it was Arkham Knight. This generally doesn't happen. Usually, you know, background music that was made for the game, the soundtrack stuff, that's fine. Like, you won't get copyright claims on it. But producers are out here trying to get their money, and, you know, fair enough, man. Fair enough. He produced the thing. He's out here trying to get his goods. And now I know, if you don't want to get copyright claimed, yeah, and you're playing the game, turn off background music, because at any point in time, these producers can come and claim your videos. So if you want to make money from your videos, don't use anything that's copyrighted. You've got to be very, very conscious about that. So that's the only thing that you can really do in terms of preparing for this Article 13 thing. Personally, I don't focus too much on things that I can't control. What I'd say is just put out content. Just put out a bunch of content that's not copyrighted. That is what you should be focusing on. You should be focusing on getting better at creating content, getting better at releasing content, and building your community, and just continually moving forward. That's the only thing you can do. Like, what else are you gonna do? Sit around and be scared? Sit around and be scared about Article 13, and then it's either you sit around and be scared and don't do anything, and then Article 13 comes out, and then it's like you wasted your time because it didn't really change much of the landscape. Like, you can still upload videos and all that sort of stuff. Or you sit around and, you know, you don't do anything, and then, you know, Article 13 stops you from being able to upload on YouTube and whatnot, and you missed out the opportunity, you know, up until that time. So, pardon me, it doesn't really make sense to even care about Article 13. I don't care about Article 13. I don't care about Brexit. Now that's a bit of a wild statement, saying I don't care. But what I mean by that is I'm not sitting around thinking about it at all, because I know that it will happen when it happens. When Brexit got postponed the second time, I was done. I'm not following it anymore, because the third time's another postponement, the fifth time it's another postponement. Why am I following that? Like, when it's done, call me, I'll see what happened, innit? That's where I'm at with these sorts of things, because sometimes they just don't happen. Sometimes, you know, there's a big talk about something that's going to happen and it doesn't happen. So I would not worry about it and just focus on doing what you can do. And then when it comes about, when it actually happens and things are actually put in stone, and YouTube says, yo, this is what's happening, that's when you can start making plans around it, and you can start thinking about what exactly you want to do moving forward. But I think it's highly unlikely, yeah, very, very unlikely, that YouTube will stop EU creators from being able to upload. If that happens, then that's going to be dead. It's going to be a very dead time. I'm going to have to, you know, find a different platform and all that sort of stuff. But I've got my websites and all that sort of stuff, and I've got videos up already, unless they're just going to take everything down from EU creators, which would be wild. I think that's highly unlikely. I think that's very, very unlikely. I think it's very unlikely that things are going to go all the way and be the worst case scenario. I think that's what, you know, a lot of people, they see things like this and then they think it's going to be the worst case scenario. And then people make like 40 videos talking about how bad it's going to be. And then obviously, because you think it's going to be the worst case scenario and you've just watched 13 of those videos, you're like, oh, it's going to be terrible. But I don't think that's actually going to be the case. And I think even if that is the case, it's better to just focus on what you can do right now than to be thinking about something that may or may not happen. So I hope this gives you some more insight into what you should be doing in terms of moving forward. Do I think Article 13 is going to affect you? Probably not. But if it does, then it does, innit? We'll see what happens when that point comes. It might not be nearly as bad as you think it's going to be, or it might be terribly worse. Either way, nothing you can do about it except for keep on doing what you're doing, keep on moving forward, keep on creating, because the only other alternative is to just sit around in fear, and that doesn't seem productive to me. That doesn't seem smart. So those are my thoughts on Article 13. On anything that you ever see that comes out and people are saying, oh, this is going to change the landscape of the internet, everything's going to change, everything's going to be worse and all that sort of stuff. This is how you should approach these things. You should think, whatever, innit? Let me continue doing what I'm doing. Unless, you know, it's a specific thing and you know that whatever this news is very reliable and something's definitely going to happen. Anytime it's a possibility and, you know, it's speculation, it doesn't matter. You'll see what happens when it actually happens. Don't worry about it, because all that's going to do is waste your time, yeah? So I hope this video helped you out. If you haven't signed up to my email list already and you haven't been getting, you know, the motivational great stuff, the gems and stuff like Intensity's been getting, then sign up to my free course. Link is in the description. That free course will show you the 5 most important steps to YouTube success. Definitely sign up to that, because it's going to teach you a lot of things and basically change your mindset. Because you probably think that YouTube's about getting 1 million subscribers and relying on AdSense. That is not the way that even the biggest YouTubers make most of their money. And if you go forward thinking that that's the way that YouTube works, in 2 years you are going to be crying, being super upset when the adpocalypse hits and whatnot, because you're not going to be able to make any money. Or, you know, you blow up, you get 1 million subscribers and whatnot, and then your video's just not shown to your subscribers, because that's the way the algorithm works. Yeah, if your subscribers don't watch your video, they're not going to see the rest of the videos. So I really want to get you away from that thought, like that side of thinking, and get you towards something that's actually a sustainable long-term thing, so you can do this for a long time and actually learn how to build a real business. So check out that free course. You'll also get on my email list where I'm sending out daily emails, except for the weekend, where, you know, I'm sharing the gems. I'm helping, you know, trying to motivate you to get you to move to where you want to get to, and trying to help you reach that goal, because I'm living this life and I love it, yeah? And I want you to love your life as well. I want you to be able to do something that you actually love for a living instead of doing whatever. Because you probably got people around you saying, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do this is what you gotta do, and you're probably thinking, I don't want to do that, like, that's dead. I don't want to do that. I want to do what I want to do. So I want to help you do what you want to do, because I was in that position and everyone was telling me, yo, you gotta go get a job, you gotta go uni, you gotta do this, and, you know, I wasted a lot of time. And if I had just focused on one specific thing, now, like, in this day and age, like this year, 2019, with all the opportunities that are available to you with YouTube and Instagram and the internet and the way the internet's set up these days, like, you can do anything. You can do anything, and I just want to share that, and I want to basically communicate that to you so that you know that you can do anything. You don't have to do what the people around you are telling you to do. If you want to do that, you can go do that, but you don't have to, innit? So I want to basically show you the other ways, innit? But now this is getting a bit rambly, so peace out. I'll see you in the next one.